here, friends. Hold on. I need some further organization. I'm back. Anyways, what's up, you guys? It's Katie Elizabeth. Welcome back to my channel. And about a week ago, I did something that is a little bit different for me. I shot my first wedding video. So since that's something that I hadn't done before, I figured that I would talk about my experience with you guys. But yeah, so we're just gonna get into it. So a few weeks ago, a coworker of my mom actually reached out to me and asked if I would like to video her daughter's wedding. More of just like the ceremony for the grandparents who couldn't make it and whatnot. And I was like, yeah, sure, if I can get the time off of work, like I'll totally do that. And so I said, of course I can do the basic video of like the ceremony for the grandparents and whatnot, but let me make you a second video. I think I can make something really cool. So since it was something new for me, I sat down and did a bit of research on how to wedding and came up with quite a bit of stuff that I think was actually really helpful in the end. So about a week before the wedding, I met with the mother of the bride, and it was like a chill meeting or whatever. We just kind of talked about like video details and like what she wanted and what I thought I could do. And I think the two most important things that I was looking for was the dress code for the wedding and the wedding colors, because one of the things that I saw while I was looking up like what are like the important things to remember and whatnot was to be as invisible as possible. So the day of the wedding, I was nervous as shit. My boss was kind enough to give me the full day off, so I had time to kind of like make sure all of my stuff was ready, make sure I had all the right batteries and like everything was charged and ready to go. To be honest, I probably didn't need to bring my chargers because my batteries, you know, worked pretty well and it was kind of just like extra weight, but that's good to make note of for next time. So I showed up about an hour early to get shots of the venue and people that were showing up and the bride and the bridesmaids getting ready and whatnot. And one of the biggest things that I saw while I was looking up how to do this whole thing was to get as many different angles of the same thing as possible. But it totally makes sense because when I was editing, it was nice to have lots of options for different shots. So when the actual ceremony started, I had two cameras running pretty much the entire time. My T3i that was just up on a tripod with a mic to get the actual ceremony itself. And then I also had my G7X Mark II with the little tripod to move around with and get different B-roll. Also, it happened to be like the hottest day of the summer. It was like 85 degrees, which up here feels like 95. And I was in my Harry Styles button up, which if you haven't seen, I'll put a boomerang of it right here because it's cute as hell, because the wedding colors were kind of like a maroony like wine color, and then just like some plain black jeans. Do not wear your jeans with holes in them was one of the big things. And then just my like clop boots that I got in my Salvation Army thrift haul. I was feeling all of the Harry Styles vibes. Again, that boomerang that I posted on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, I'll leave the handout right here. You should definitely check it out, by the way. I think that for me, since it was my first wedding, was to feel like as confident as I could. Then I like, you know, like I own my shit, I know what I'm doing. I mean, I like talked to my dad about it beforehand. He was like, no, like you sound like you know what you're doing. And I was like, okay, well, that's what I'm going for. So being invisible or like wearing, you know, like the appropriate attire, but also like making sure that you feel good and like you're like confident in yourself is really important. But oh my god, I was sweaty. It was so hot. I would say definitely make sure you wear something that you won't die in. So it went well. I kind of started my one camera, like got some shots of everybody walking in, and then focused it like up on the altar, and then just let it be while I used my small camera to go around and get different like more artsy shots. But the one sort of bump that I did hit while I was at the wedding was forgetting the fact that my bigger camera only shoots for 12 minutes at a time before it automatically shuts off. But thankfully, since it was so hot, the ceremony was pretty short and I did get the whole thing. And then afterwards, while the bride and groom were greeting people, I definitely got some shots of that. That ended up being really cute, and I really like how that part of the video turned out as well. And I think the whole thing took like less than 2 hours total, which is like really fast compared to what I was expecting. I didn't stay for the reception or anything. That wasn't really like what they wanted, so I just dipped out after that. And then y'all already know I immediately went to my second house, Kaladi's, and started editing. And they kind of expected it to be done in, you know, like 2-3 weeks or whatever, but I had the whole weekend to work on it because the wedding was on a Friday. And so I think that like getting it done as quickly as I could while like obviously still making sure that it was actually good. I don't want to like rush it, but like I had the time to make it good but also get it done quickly. So like utilize that time if you have it, I guess. I also made sure to pretty much like right after it finished up to write down, you know, things that went well and things that I would do differently next time, just like while it was fresh, just to keep in mind for the next time that I do this, hopefully. Some of the big things that I would say as far as like stuff that went well was like coordinating with colors, showing up early for establishing shots, getting like lots of different angles of everything, and like having multiple cameras rolling at pretty much all times. Also, I think that shooting in 1080 for events like this where you're making a video for like a family or something is better than shooting in 4K, because I was talking to the photographer before the ceremony. He was like, oh, are you shooting in 1080 or 4K? And I was like, oh, just 1080. Like, I thought he was gonna be like, ha, you knew. But he was like, oh yeah, like definitely that like works better or whatever, because 4K takes up so much space and you literally can't get like any footage on a single SD card, and my cameras don't even shoot in 4K, so I was kind of like, whew, okay, you're not gonna make fun of me. But like, definitely if you're like looking into doing something like this, if it's for like a family and not actually like a company or something for like an event, I think that shooting in 1080 definitely works better. But I would recommend getting like a higher frame rate. Normally when I do my vlogs, it's in 30 frames, but for this and like more recently my vlogs, I've been shooting in 50. Which definitely makes it easier to do slow motion shots in post. That way it looks a little bit more smooth. And like, so personally while I was editing, I like to put most of it into slow motion because it looks smoother. And also I feel like a wedding, at least like obviously I like having gotten married, I feel like a wedding is something that like kind of with like any event in your life, it kind of just like happens and then it's done and you're suddenly like, oh, what just happened? I think that like slowing down those moments that are like important in someone's life when they go by so fast for them is like kind of cool, and also it just like looks better. So the day I showed the video to the family, I was also nervous as shit. The mother of the bride asked me, you know, like, should the bride and groom be there? I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, but I like wasn't, and so I was just kind of like, yeah, sure, like if you know, if they want to be there, that's like totally okay. But I was also like, oh my god, what if they hate it and like what if like But I think that it was good for me to deal with that sort of like anxiety this time, that way it'll be easier next time I do this. So I just went over to their house and it was nice. We just like chatted and I like showed them videos. The mom said later that she cried, and I was like, not to whip my own wheel or anything, but like I was really nervous. I showed them like the ceremony one at first, which was kind of not awkward just because the audio that I got wasn't fantastic because my gear is like student budget grade, I guess. And it was also like an outside venue, and so it was kind of like windy and you could hear airplanes going by because it is like by the airport. They were like super cool about it and they were really nice, and we kind of just like cracked a couple jokes or whatever. I would recommend asking them if they would like subtitles, because there were a couple of points where you couldn't hear what they were saying. So if they have a script, I would ask for that and ask if they would like subtitles, maybe at like a little bit of an extra cost, especially if they're sending it to people who might be hard of hearing. But yeah, the experience as a whole was like super fun, and it was kind of like, you know, nerve-wracking a little bit, and like this is new, but I'm also like learning so much as I go. I think that my favorite part was just like being able to show them like, hey, I can give you what you want, and also like this extra product that I think is equally as great, but also like more my creative speed. I'm really proud of the videos that I made. So if you would like to watch the second video, the more creative one, it's only about 3 minutes long. The link will be in the description below. You can definitely go check it out. I would love any feedback that you have on it. But yeah, this was kind of my experience with making my first wedding video and my first like formal event, you know, taking video for. And I think that it's definitely something that I would like to look into as a way to like make some extra money in college and whatnot, because being able to like make money doing something that I love, which is making videos, because y'all know I don't get money on YouTube, is like my ultimate goal. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, be sure to let me know by giving it a big thumbs up and subscribing down below and hitting the notification bell. That way you get a little ding when I upload. Also, because I'm a dummy and forgot to say this part while I was filming the actual video, this is my favorite comment from last week's video. So if you would like to be featured in next week's video, leave a comment down below letting me know what your plans for this weekend are, and I will pick my favorite one and put it in next week's video. And hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I'm so far away.